Shalom. Call Haloyamla, Yahapwa, Bahashum, Yahapashai, Bahashum, Recha Kodash, Brakata Yahapwa, Brakata Yahapashai, Brakata Recha Kodash, Bahashum, Yahapashai, Bahashum, Recha Kodash. Shalom, and double honors unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elders in the Akim and the Akwath. Shalom. I want to go into a quick video entitled, Israel will rule all above all nations for eternity. So, it's important to put the vibration and reiterate and go into the precepts for, for spiritual repetition for those that are still underneath the evil vibration of false Christianity, which teaches that, the Messiah is going to return and save everybody and everybody's going to live happily ever after. That's not the case at all. So I was just going over, just reading Isaiah chapter 2, and that kind of prompted, the Spirit, prompted me to get some precepts together to go along with Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 2. But we'll start, in the book of Psalms, chapter 94 and 16, because people speak about all nations going to be saved. Well, there's a particular criteria, and first off, you have to be of Israelite blood to receive the salvation. And then, there's particular actions that you need to be partaking in and doing. Psalm 94:16, who will rise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? So, the Most High is asking who's going to rise up for him against the evildoers, those that are committing sin and spreading it and teaching others to do so as well. And part of it is Christianity saying that the laws are done away with. If the law is done away with, then you're doing nothing but sinning, adding sin unto sin, and being abominable and filthy before the eyes of the Almighty power Yahweh and Yahweh Shah and the angels that are recording everything. So when you look up, when you go, you can do a search online or whatever. You can search and see what other nations is doing this particular deed right here that the Most High is asking about. And you won't be able to find any nation that's calling out the wickedness, but they're actually protecting wickedness, and condemning you when you speak out against it. So just off that basis alone, video could be over, and we could get on to the next video next time, because there's nobody's preaching and teaching that. Nobody's coming up against wickedness. So they're all not worthy to be to even be considered by the Lord, right? So we go from there to Ezekiel 9 and 4. Just gotta let it load up. Let me see, try it again. Phone acting a little slow right now, but let me see. Okay, here we go. So Ezekiel 9 and verse 4, it says, and the Lord Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. So this lets you know the context is always about the Israelites. Through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So that lets you know who's standing up for the evildoers. So who's standing up against the evildoers for the Most High and against the workers of iniquity? Israelites. And there's a remnant, the elect. And we're of the hopeful elect. We dare not make ourselves a part of the number. But there's not anyone else in the earth that is doing this and fits that criteria other than the hopefully elect Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, who are the lost 12 tribes of Israel. So just wanted to get that for the context, and then now we'll go to Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, and he shall judge among the nations No, no, I'm sorry, not 4. Verse 2. Verse 2. And it shall. We'll start at verse 1. The word that Isaiah, the prophet, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. There's a vision the Most High and prophecy the Most High gave to Isaiah the prophet. Verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days. Oh, that's where we at, and that's what we're in right now, the last days. Right before them, because the Messiah is very close to returning, according to prophecy. It says that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills. So these mountains and hills are the other heathen Gentile nations, and all nations shall flow unto it. So it's letting you know it's going to come to pass in the last days when the Messiah returns, and after those nuclear missiles hit, and the deliverance occur and happen, and then Israel will be established above all the nations, and exalted above all the hills. These are mountains or hills are metaphorically speaking about the other nations throughout the earth. So that theory, that false theory and false doctrine from Christianity that all nations are going to be saved and everybody going to be on equal footing is a complete utter lie. So, okay, real quick, we'll get the other translation for that. Sometimes you can go into these other translations to get, just to get simplified, modern wording, but you want to be careful going into these other doctrines, these other additions, because it goes off when in the dark sayings and the parables and everything like that. But it's okay to get it in the lesser breakdowns. So it says here, in the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house will be the highest of all, the most important place on earth. It would be raised above the other hills, and people from all over the world will stream there to worship. So they're going to be in subjection unto the Lord's house, which is he chose Israel. And then you can also get it in the GNT Bible, which it means the Good News translation. This is a pretty good, solid translation to simplify it into the modern English that we read and understand today. So it's in what Isaiah. In verse 2, in days to come, the mountain where the temple stands, and that's where the temple is in Israel, will be the highest one of all, towering above all the hills. Many nations will come streaming to it. So they're all going to be following and wandering after the Israelites. First and foremost, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and following after the chosen nation of the Most High, the Israelites, the nation of Israel, wandering after righteousness now. After they were wandering after the beast, now they're going to be wandering after the righteousness of the Most High. And they're going to be underneath the Israelites. So we'll go to 2nd Esdras in chapter 6. And we'll start, let's see. We'll go to verse 10. It says, the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Of the question Esdras asked thou not. So, and when you read, the story of Jacob and Esau, when Esau came out first, out of the womb, Jacob was right on his heels and grabbed his heel. So the fate of mankind so the hand of man, meaning the fate. I like to go on this a lot because it's important to understand. This is showing you the order. There was never going to be equal footing. There's going to be one nation on top and everyone else following accordingly. So the fate of mankind, which is the heathen Gentile nations, is between the heel of Esau and the hand of Jacob. So we'll read verse 8. It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Why? That was prophetic. It's verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Esau is the so-called white race, and Jacob is the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, the lost 12 tribes of Israel. So that's important to understand. So the fate of mankind is between whoever is ruling, because Jacob is the righteous seed and Esau is the wicked seed. So the fate of mankind is going to be following after the righteousness of Jacob on the right hand side, or following after the wickedness of Esau under Satan. So that's what that's breaking down and going into. So Revelations chapter 13. And verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. And that's talking about the Roman Empire. And his deadly wound was healed. How it was wounded to death because Rome fell around 325 AD, and they were shut up and they went to the caves. We pushed them up into the caves, and they was up in the caves for 1,000 years, shut up in the bottomless pit over in the Europe areas. And because it was over in the Caucasus Mountains of Mount Georgia, Russia, and all around in those areas. And so they was that's why one of their names is Caucasian, which means cave dweller. So that was the Renaissance. I mean, not the Renaissance. That was the the quote unquote Dark Ages and medieval times when they were in the caves for 1,000 years. Then they came out and was called the Renaissance, and that's how that deadly wound was healed, through the Renaissance, through America. That little horn that came out of Great Britain. And now, over here, that's a different topic, but, it was healed through America, because the Roman Empire is the spirit and the foundation of this, their political structure and everything is the same as Rome. So that's how it was healed. And so the key here is what I want to get was, and all the world wondered after the beast, here in verse 3. And all the world wondered after the beast. So when the world is wandering after, like we just went into in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, the fate of mankind, the fate of man, the hand of man, which is the fate of man, is going to be dictated between wickedness through Esau on the left-hand side and wickedness, and righteousness. They're going to be cursed or they're going to be blessed. Those that follow after the beast are going to be cursed because they are following after Satan. So when we get let's get the translation comparison. The New Living Translation here, NLT. It says, I saw that one of the heads of the beast seemed wounded beyond recovery, but the fatal wound was healed. The whole world marveled at this miracle and gave allegiance to the beast. See, that's their so when you pledge allegiance to something, you're vowing and submitting and following after their ways. So whatever the beast says and whatever the beast do, that's what the heathen nations are going to do. That's why they're wearing 3-piece suits and conducting business the same way as Esau Edom, the so-called white race. So that's what that's about. So that's the fate of the hand of man right now, wandering after the beast under Satan. And I don't think I've read it in the GNT. I want to see what it says real quick. It'd be interesting how it's broken down in the modern way, in the modern language, modern English. Verse 3, one of the heads of the beast seemed to have been fatally wounded. but the wound had healed. The whole earth was amazed and followed the beast. So, they're not following the Lamb Yahushua. They're following the beast under Satan. So, that's the fate of mankind right now. Of the heathen Gentiles, and even Israel, they following after white Jesus and all of that madness and false Christianity, and just under the philosophies of this place. Proverbs 29:2. Is when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Why? Because the commandments are proceeding forth. And Psalm 37:7 says, let's go ahead and get it. Psalm 37:37. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright. The law is perfect, so he that follows the laws. For the end of that man is peace. So that's why when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Why? Because it's going to be peace. That's why you have nothing but wars and rumors of wars right now. World War III. There's always a Cold War. There's always wars. The Vietnam War, and the Cold War, and it's always war because the wicked are in authority and they don't follow the commandments. So there's nothing. What's the opposite of peace? Is war. Verse 2 again says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So that's what's going on. The whole earth is languishing, and they're weakening, and the joy and mirth is gone out of Babylon the Great and throughout the four corners right now, because war is in the air. And that's scripture. The sound of battle in the land, or the sound of war in the land. I'm roughly paraphrasing. You could look it up. That kind of go into something else. So from there, because it won't be, it's not equal right now. No nations are ruling in equal, authority right now. They're all following after the beast in their own, they're falling into their lots underneath the beast. So in the carnal society, it's not everyone not ruling. So how much less in the spiritual kingdom of heaven, where righteousness is going to proceed forth, when the only nation that has the ability of that has the ability of righteousness. I say ability because it's only only the elect of Israel right now. You have to be chosen within Israel, a remnant. So it's a very small number that's going to be righteous, and then everyone going to follow after that. After they have to receive judgment on this side to come soon. So Genesis 22 and verse 18. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. And it's talking about Abraham. So verse 19 says, so Abraham returned to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. So just to get the context of who this is speaking, who the Most High is speaking to, this is Abraham. And then so people, Christianity will say, aha, see, Abraham, we're all of the seed of Abraham. Actually, we all don't come from Abraham first off, but it's a very specific bloodline within who came out of Abraham. So Romans 9:7. Neither because they are the seed of Abraham, they say, oh, we all come from Abraham, we all going to receive equal footing and salvation in the kingdom of heaven when the Messiah returns. It says, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. And we know, Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac begot had Jacob. And we know Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, and that's who was called. And then, because we know Isaac had Jacob and Esau, and we know that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning. And the Most High didn't choose And some people may try to use that to say, oh, see, and Isaac had Jacob and Esau, and try to say that Esau is going to be okay as well. But no, we read verse 13 right here. It says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. And then also when you read the story of Jacob and Esau, who got the blessing, who got the birthright? Jacob did. So, and Esau got the blessing of ruling with the sword, and the modern day sword is the gun. And we know how Esau, so-called white races, how they get down today. They rule through their military, and that's that blessing that they're enjoying temporarily. So Daniel 7 and 18. Oh, yes, Amos. Let me see. Daniel 7:18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever. Forever, even forever and ever. Excuse me. So the saints, the only saints are the Israelites, and I did a video about that. I've gone into that a couple times. Only the Israelites can be saints, because saints is short for sanctified as well. So that's mean holy, consecrated. The only ones that was consecrated were the Israelites in the wilderness, and only Israel was in the wilderness. So those are the saints. And Psalms 50 and 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Who made the covenant by sacrifice? The Israelites. Let me see, get Psalms 148 real quick. Psalms 148 verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. So just to thoroughly break that down, who the saints are, it's the Israelites who's going to take the kingdom. Under the Most High and Yahushua leading the way, the Messiah. Psalm 60 and 11 says, give us, let me see, Isaiah, I'm sorry. Isaiah 60 and 11. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. So it's letting you know that the other nations are going to come flowing into the Israelites, following after the righteousness of the Israelites, and then paying homage and paying tribute day and night, bringing their treasure into the kingdom of heaven, paying homage to the almighty power of Yahweh and Yahushua and the Israelites that will be in their lot underneath the Messiah. Verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So other nations won't be warring anymore. They're going to have to follow the Most High's commandments as well, because that's them going. They're going to be either they're following lawlessness of Esau right now, or they're going to be following the commandments of the Most High in the kingdom of heaven. So that's what's going on. That's what's going to happen in the future. So if they don't do that, then they're going to be destroyed. That's the Most High is saying here. It won't be wars, nothing like that, but the only nation that will be able to, the Most High is going to use the Israelites to put forth judgments according to the law. If nations don't, if nations go off. And that's going to be forever. And it's going to be righteous rulership under the Messiah. And everything's going to be in order, because everything is out of order and it's just chaos right now. And that's no way to, that's not how the Most High set up this earth. Because the earth is beautiful and it's going to be ruled in beautiful righteousness. Jeremiah 51 and verse 19. It reads, the portion of Jacob is not like them. Why is that? Because the portion of Jacob is not like the heathen nations, because they're going to have the spiritual portion of the kingdom of heaven. It says, for he is the former of all things, because the Israelites are the salt of the earth, and they, formed all things through the Most High and Yahushua. This goes into a different topic, pretty heavy, but they received the blueprint. Well, the elect men had received the blueprint with the Messiah, which created the earth and formed the earth in the beginning in Genesis chapter 1. Because that word for God in Genesis chapter 1, I think verse 1 is Elohim, which is plural, which means powers. Multiple powers were creating the earth. They were the workers set forth with the blueprint from the architect, the Most High Yahweh. So that's how Jacob is the former of all things, under the Most High and the Messiah Yahushua. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai of hosts is his name. Verse 20, thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. So that's showing you right there is a direct distinction of in hierarchy. The Israelites are above the other nations, and the Most High is going to use the Israelites to destroy the heathen kingdoms. And it's only righteous that it happens because it's fair and it's just, because we're broken in pieces right now. We're scattered throughout the four corners, and that's because we sinned and went off, and we're being punished. But that doesn't mean, but the heathen nations have a recompense and reward to come for doing that. So we'll read Revelation chapter 2 and verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. So that's showing you there, the Israelites is going to be, this is the Messiah Yahushua talking, and he's going to give power he's going to give power to the Israelites, to the elect, over the nations. Verse 27, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So the Most High gave all power and authority and dominion to Yahushua. Yahushua, he inherited the earth through what he did. What he do? He sacrificed his life to bring the Israelites back into the Most High. So for that, he received everything. And then Yahushua is going to justly and righteously give men, the elect Israelite men, their portion that he's going to righteously give to them, and divide amongst the elect to rule with him. This is what it's all about: the Messiah coming and ruling earth, and having his joint heirs with him to divide up the powers and divide up the rulership in different provinces. And it's going to be, just the government of Yahushua under Yahweh, and the elect man is going to be ruling with Yahushua. It's just going to be a beautiful order and structure that's going to get laid down to rule forever and ever. So, no nation will rule equally with the Israelites, only in subjection, but they're going to be blessed because it's going to be peace and righteous order. So, with that being said, I hope this video was edifying. The water to the Rachak Wadash for another video. Till next video, I say, Shalom.